So, it turns out China doesn't like it when you say bad things about them. Who would have known? Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and these are 10 celebrities who are banned in China. Number 10, Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus has been involved in a ton of scandals over the years, varying from super serious to little tiffs. She may not have meant to, but she followed suit with her fellow Disney stars and landed in hot water time and time again. I swear, the moment you are casted in a Disney show, you have an 80% chance of being arrested. Because of her public problems and overall chaotic antics, it should be no surprise that Miley is banned from China. Shockingly, the Chinese government didn't take offense to her doing illegal substances or dancing in her birthday suit on the wrecking ball. No, they were upset with her because of a picture she took where she was imitating Asian people by pulling back the skin around her eyes. You know, one of the most offensive things on the planet. The Organization for Chinese Americans had strong words to say about the picture, but the Chinese government ramped things up to 1 million. They decided to straight up ban Miley Cyrus from ever entering the country. That's fair. The Chinese foreign minister got involved, telling the press that Miley made it clear that she is no friend to China or anyone else of East Asian descent, going on to say that the country had no interest in polluting the minds of the children. Miley actually clapped back and said that the media took the photo out of context. In what context is pulling your eyes back okay? Number 9, Brad Pitt. Fun fact, if you are an actor and wish to do anything in China, just try avoiding Tibet as a workplace. The Chinese government is apparently very sensitive about the region and is neurotic about anything having to do with the Dalai Lama. Brad Pitt found this out the hard way. In 1997, Brad starred in the film 7 Years in Tibet, playing the 14th Dalai Lama's tutor. Chinese officials found the film to be offensive, especially because of how it portrayed the Chinese occupation of Tibet, almost as if their government thought the movie was going to be some action thriller where the Dalai Lama was a bad guy. The officials decided that the filmmakers should be punished for their work, so they barred the main cast and crew of the film from ever entering China again, which included Brad Pitt. That ban was in effect until 2016, when after 19 years, the government decided that he learned his lesson. Considering how well American films do in China these days, it's kind of a no-brainer to let Brad Pitt back into the country. Number 8, Selena Gomez. For a lot of people, meeting the Dalai Lama is a privilege and just really cool experience, but for former Disney wizard Selena Gomez, it meant that she would no longer be welcome in China. While in rehearsals for We Day in Vancouver 2014, Selena had the opportunity to meet the Dalai Lama. Someone snapped a pic, and Selena, being who she is, decided to share that picture with her Instagram and Twitter followers. The funny thing is that the ban was not an immediate thing. It actually took a while for outrage to grow. In fact, she wasn't even aware that there were any issues until 2 years later when she was planning tour dates in China. Her website announced shows scheduled for Guangzhou and Shanghai one day, but one day those dates suddenly vanished. The government got around to enacting a ban on her for the 2-year-old picture. It's funny to think that a bunch of officials in China sat around a table trying to decide what to do about Selena Gomez. They really did not have much of a reason to make a fuss out of one picture, and more than likely spent a solid amount of time just scrolling through pictures of Selena being like, I don't know, is this one bad too? I don't really know anymore, guys. Number 7, Justin Bieber. In 2017, it was announced that Justin would no longer be allowed to step foot into mainland China due to his bad behavior. Those are the exact words used by the government. In a statement from the ministry, it stated that the country would not allow celebrities who have engaged in bad behavior to step foot on their soil. The statement claimed that Justin Bieber was a gifted singer, but he's also a controversial young foreign singer. They hoped that Justin would mature so that he can continue to improve on his own words, actions, and truly become a singer beloved by the public. To be fair to China, Justin has not been the chillest dude on the planet. In 2014, he shared a picture of himself visiting the controversial Yasukuni Shrine in Tokyo. The shrine honors fallen warriors and pays tribute to convicted criminals. In China and South Korea, the shrine is seen as a symbol of Japan not being sorry for its empire past. He caused a ton of outrage and was forced to apologize and took down the photo, but deleting something doesn't mean that everything's gonna be all hunky-dory. In fact, it was very hunky-batty. Now that doesn't work. Number 6, Harrison Ford. Guess what, y'all? Harrison is just another celebrity on this list who just had to mention Tibet on the air. Despite this man spending most of his career saving lives or time traveling, His greatest achievement yet was making the Chinese government so angry that he was blacklisted from entering the country altogether. Ford is a longtime advocate for human rights and has been outspoken about China specifically and their occupation of Tibet. Having met the Dalai Lama thanks to his wife working on the script for the film Kundun, Harrison's views were altered in 1992, and in 1995 he testified before the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the need for Tibetan independence and detailed all of China's human rights violations. He really made the government mad, like so mad. Chinese officials banned him from entering the country along with his then wife, Melissa Matheson. 5. Sharon Stone. A name that will continue to be the source of many bans is the Dalai Lama. You'll see a pattern. In 2008, Sharon Stone was talking to the press at the Cannes Film Festival when she started making comments about a very serious Sichuan earthquake. The comments were not nice. She didn't say that we should help people, no. Instead, this woman was certain that the earthquake was caused by bad karma built up by the Chinese for oppressing the Dalai Lama. That's something someone actually said. The earthquake was not some little thing that did a bit of damage, it took the lives of close to 90,000 people. And there was Sharon Stone, the woman who played the bad guy in 2004's Catwoman, telling people that it was probably some form of cosmic retribution. Who would have guessed? That's insensitive. It doesn't matter what she believes, blaming a natural disaster and the loss of lives on karma is just silly. So when Australia was on fire in 2020, was that because an Australian lady called me a bad name at a bar that year? No. Maybe. Who knows? To the surprise of no one at all, the Chinese government was fuming and decided to issue a ban to the 90s starlet. Not of her as a person, but of all of her films. Anything she had starred in or would ever star in would not be shown in China, which is probably part of the reason that you don't see Sharon Stone anymore. She later apologized for the comments, but that doesn't change the fact that the movie Ants can never be enjoyed by a Chinese audience ever again. What a shame. Number 4. Richard Gere. When people saw Richard in Pretty Woman, they had no idea that in a few short years this man would turn into some kind of a humanitarian hero. During the 1993 Academy Awards, Richard issued an impromptu speech about the human rights issues that China had inflicted on Tibet. Now, it was an interesting choice considering that he wasn't accepting an award. He was actually presenting an award for Best Art Direction, but he decided to skip the preamble comments and took the time to instead spread the word about Tibet. The Academy producers were furious and vowed to ban Richard from ever attending any future award ceremonies, but he didn't stop at the Academy though. Richard continued to vouch for Tibet and his longtime friend, the Dalai Lama. Chinese officials took a disliking to Richard and banned him from entering the country, which had a devastating impact on his career. Since like a third of profit margins from film come from China, major studios stopped casting Richard, fearing distribution repercussions from the Chinese government. Number 3. Bjork. Bjork is not just a talented musician with a fun name, but she also ventured into multiple jobs and lifestyles over the years. In 2000, she appeared in Lars von Trier's Dancer in the Dark, a film that did not cause her to be banned from China. It was actually a live show 8 years later that sealed the deal. During a 2008 Shanghai concert, Bjork ended her performance of the song Declare Independence by shouting, "Tibet! Tibet!" In the grand scheme of life, that doesn't really sound like a lot, right? It's not really that bad. Well, wrong. When you actually break down the lyrics of the song, it's all about countries gaining their independence, making their own flags and currency, and battling against oppression. I'm not sure if you've noticed at this point, but China doesn't like it when you call them out on stuff. Needless to say, they were not thrilled to be a part of this one. The government quickly issued a statement. Bjork and other performance artists threatened Chinese national views. Suddenly, a ton of musicians were banned from China, and Bjork was of course first and foremost, but this was ridiculous. I mean, Bob Dylan was even... No, that one makes sense. Number 2, Anastasia Lin. In 2016, beauty queen Anastasia Lin starred in a Canadian-Chinese film about the human rights violations in China. This was not the first time that she was involved in Chinese human rights. For most of her adult life, Lin has been an outspoken critic of China, and the film was just the most recent example. While this was okay for a while, China decided they had had enough. Chinese officials banned Lin from entering the 65th annual Miss World pageant, which was being held in China. Lin did not give up and planned to enter the country by requesting on-demand visa when her flight landed in China. The strategy was basically just show up anyway and hope that the government won't want to cause a scene. You know, the same thing that people do when the same thing that you do when you try sneaking into a party that you weren't invited to. The government, however, did not bend. The organizers of the next pageant told her that she could compete in 2016 under one condition: she could not mention human rights during the pageant. Lin caved and followed through. She is still pursuing human rights though to this day. And at number 1, Lisa from Blackpink. K-pop fans will surely recognize Lisa from the band Blackpink. I'm not going to pretend for a single second that I listen to K-pop, so please bear with me. Lisa was not banned for something that she actually did, but instead of somewhere that she went with some of her fellow singers. Lisa and a few of her bandmates attended the Crazy House in Paris, a well-known burlesque show featuring some pretty risque performances. The group were bashed by government officials in China, and their social media accounts were taken down as a result. They are no longer able to post on China's largest platform, Weibo, and so far it's looking like this may be the last that people see of Lisa. Maybe. Again, I don't know. Those are the celebrities who are banned in China. Would you like to see a part 2? Because there are a lot of people who are banned in China. Let us know by leaving a like on this video, follow the channel for more celebrity content each and every day, and thank you for stopping beyond the screen. We'll see you next time.